We woke up in a different world, where the Cold War ended along with the Vietnam carnage. All because of the Dome. The Dome. A territory full of anomalous artifacts, phenomena, and organisms. We still don't know what it is. An alien city? Some kind of a testing ground or storage? Whatever it is, no living thing trapped under the Dome can escape it. Yet even this did not stop the research. The major powers created the Cronus Megacorporation to develop and explore the Dome. Its secrets became a lucrative business. The Spires station was built on top of the Dome to export the artifacts and import supplies and personnel. The city of Crystal Sands grew at the foot of the Dome, eventually becoming a major transportation hub. All this required thousands of employees, and there was no shortage of candidates. Romantics, pragmatists, and adventurers of all trades swarmed recruiting centers around the globe, seeking jobs at Cronus. You were one of those people. In 1976, your application was approved, and you went under the Dome towards the future. Whether a good one or a bad one, only time will tell. A guy wearing thick spectacles thrusts out a sweaty hand.
Monty James, Silverwing.
He glances down at your badge.
Ah, it's you. I found your file extremely interesting, and your CV wonderful. Inspiring, really. When I had the opportunity to look over the files of my future colleagues, I couldn't resist. I don't want to sound boastful, but silver level clearance has its advantages.
Monty winks. Monty makes a ring with his thumb and forefinger.
You were number 63,784 on the waiting list, but you were lucky enough to get into the dome after only 16 months. Besides that, zero, nada, absolutely nothing. You're a dark horse for both the Foundation and myself. How exactly did you end up in this wing?
The Silver shakes his head.
Honestly, I envy you. Yeah, I do. I understand pretty much nothing about computers. A typewriter is more my speed. How do you keep track of all the different commands? I have no clue how anybody could ever get adjusted to it.
An uncomfortable silence rises between you, and Monty abruptly taps the narrow illuminator panel with one finger.
Look, there's a storm rising. The lightning is strange. Green. Should lightning be green? This is my first sandstorm.
The orange is dressed in a new jumpsuit, the shiny badge on his chest. He's side-eyeing the screen skeptically. Despite his tired, grim expression, his gaze is open and friendly. However, the general impression is unmistakable. There's something frightening about Bisley. Quentin raises his hands to examine the devices.
They call them humane handcuffs. How about that? Truth is, there ain't nothing humane about them. They zap you real hard the moment you get your hands on a gun. But they sure look nice.
Bisley lowers his hands again and smirks. The orange's face stretches into a broad smile, baring his dentures to the world.
Like everyone, duh. In a black car, under guard. There's other guys, too. The ones who go through the front door.
He nods at the black-winged woman beside him. Her nose wrinkles in displeasure, but she says nothing. A tall woman is watching an ad playing on the monitor, arms crossed. The polished-to-a-shine badge on her black overalls reads, Elsa Olafson, Security Service. She glances at you and offers her hand in a businesslike manner.
Greetings. Please take all necessary precautions. By that I mean, don't turn your back on him.
Elsa nods at the orange.
I just follow orders. Even if his crime was embezzlement, I have to keep him cuffed. Those are the rules.
Olafson shrugs in a sharp, mechanical way, as if racking the slide of an assault.
Our friends from the administration didn't deign to inform me about this man's record. Could be I'm escorting a serial killer. It's corporate policy, you know.
She gives the Silver a vengeful look. A man with a mustache and a blue jumpsuit is standing at the window, studying the construction site below through the occasional break in the clouds. His badge reads Igor Patan, planner. The blue taps on the glass with one finger and gestures you to come and take a look. Seems like he doesn't speak English. The thin, pale young woman is sitting at the window, leaning against the illuminator. The glass is slightly fogged with her breath. She turns to you. Her shiny badge reads Tomoko Kimura, physiologist.
We've crossed the border. No way back now. Even traveling by the funicular wasn't so thrilling.
The white presses small hands to her.
You were thinking, why have no children been born under the dome? I've got a working hypothesis, but I'm not ready to share it yet.
She says softly, as if answering a question you didn't ask. Kimura peers through the glass in the direction you indicate.
Oh, That's the aircraft that crashed into the dome during the first expedition. I believe that's a wing fragment, and there's some white canvas. What do you think that is? Maybe a parachute?
The White shakes her head, bewildered.
I just can't believe it. It's all true. We're on our way to meet the future.
Kimura shoots you a surprised look.
You're familiar with the details of the briefing, right? To put it simply, the dome is a selectively permeable environment.
The White draws an invisible hemisphere in the air.
Inorganic objects may exit the dome without difficulty, but any living creature dies if transported back to the outside world. That's why we're all stuck here for an indefinite period of time.
Kimura listens without interrupting, as if considering your every word.
It's quite possible. I would like to set up an experiment to test this in practice.
She cuts off abruptly. You exchange glances with the rapidly blushing Kimura.
Not in that sense. I mean, yes, in that sense, but it is science, you know? It's quite serious.
She purses her lips shyly.
This experiment requires at least one man.
Kimura blushes even more.
I mean, oh drat, you've got it all wrong. I meant to say that one of the participants in the experiment should be a man and the other should be a woman, which should be obvious.
Kronos Foundation presents gleaming, futuristic, state-of-the-art cities straight from the pages of science.
Stopping by the door's porthole, you watch as the ground slowly. It looks brown-black through the tinted glass and smoky blue at the horizon. Your eye is drawn to the cluttered eastern section of the dome, where you see a block of warehouses and something resembling an observation. The real dome doesn't resemble its image from the ads at all. There are no snow-white cities or vast highways to be seen here. Looking more closely, you can make out a single, lonely road leading north. A few sheds, a radar installation, and the glittering antenna of a radio tower emerge from the mists. Yes, engineers will have plenty of work here. Just as you're about to move away from the window, you notice a whirlwind beginning to form above the ochre plain. The gathering storm drifts unhurriedly above the desert, a crown of green lightning flashing at its core. Clearly no ordinary weather phenomenon. It must be one of those anomalies. You freeze by the window, unable to avert your gaze. The outlines of the landing site, blurred by clouds of dust, appear behind the greenish glass of the porthole. The capsule shudders as the braking devices engage.
Come here. Come on now, or you'll miss everything.
A cheerful man in a white lab coat grabs you by the sleeve. A badge reading Ludovico Nuzzi, scientific analyst, export department, dangles loosely on his clean uniform, which still smells pungently of washing powder.
Look over there.
He points upward with a sharp, wide gesture and hands you his field binoculars. You raise the binoculars to your eyes. Under fourfold magnification, the whirling cloud above the rust-colored plains looks even stranger. Its core glows with flickering green light and flashes rhythmically, and that rhythm seems to form a complicated pattern. Nazi bends close to your ear.
Fascinating. Do you want me to bring some filters? If we intercept the red and blue spectrums, we'll see something amazing. It's like a signal, some kind of message.
Without tearing your gaze away from the binoculars, you turn around slowly, studying the dome's horizon. It's somewhat unexpected that the dome looks horribly empty. Your eyes find some construction pits dug directly in the sand, and concrete blocks laid beside them. There are almost no roads, or not sealed ones. Only one highway with yellow surface marking stretches among the sand drifts. The scientist looks blankly at you, then down at his lab coat.
Ah, this? This?
He lets out a blaring laugh. Ludovico points at the building behind him.
I work in Concord Station, categorizing relics. My job is to classify them by rarity. Then the blues package them, silvers issue the documentation, and oranges move them to the cargo capsule. Just like the one you arrived in.
Nazi points upward.
Then the capsule takes the relics way up there, all the way to the spire, then to Crystal Sands by the funicular. They get auctioned off and turned into money. It's not like I endorse this, but we all like ourselves a good paycheck, right?
He offers you his binoculars once again.
Do you want to have a look at the spire? It's amazing. But then you can look at the spire anytime. Now that sandstorm, that's what's truly amazing.
Nazi looks from you to the capsule and to the landing terminal entrance. He flings his arms up.
Oh, mi scusi. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. You'd better get going or you'll be late for check-in. Your colleagues are already inside, and the storm is growing stronger. Yeah, the storm is growing stronger.
The white mutters in fascination, eyes glued to his binoculars, which is fixed on the spinning whirl of clouds.
And I was starting to get bored. See ya!
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
I'm all ears.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Rayhead, would you bring me a cup of coffee, please? Colleague? Well, never mind. Greetings. It was nice chatting. Mr. Rayhead, would you bring me a cup of coffee, please?
Please handle relics carefully.
Colleague? Well, never mind.
Your life will be forfeit.
Hello, come up to the desk, please. I'll register you.
A tall receptionist watches you from behind his desk with a bored, haughty look. He waves impatiently at you to approach. The employee glances at you indifferently. His upper lip is ever so slightly curled in contempt.
All new employees must register first thing. Come up to the desk, please.
The nameplate on the desk tells you you're talking with Dean Rayhead, administrator. The administrator slaps himself on the forehead.
I almost forgot the regulation pre-registration greeting. Just a second.
Rayhead produces a reel-to-reel tape recorder from beneath the desk, rewinds the tape to the beginning, and presses play. The speakers explode with a harsh, crackling sound, over which the tick-tick of a metronome slowly grows louder. Solemn music begins to play, and the administrator's face takes on a serious expression.
Dear employee, on behalf of the Cronus Foundation, I, Administrator Dean Rayhead, welcome you to your new life under the dome.
The administrator clears his throat and continues.
By joining our company, you choose the path of science and progress. You are among mankind's best, and we ask that you live up to this.
Dean squints down at the monitor.
Deserve this title. Do your job honestly. Obey the law. Respect your colleagues, and...
The music fades, and the administrator finishes his speech.
And together we will build the best possible future for all mankind.
Dean puts the tape recorder away.
Now that we're done with the official greeting, I'll register you and upgrade your Selectron. Okay?
Dean's hands hover over the keyboard. He gives you a nod. The administrator squints at the paper in his outstretched hand before setting it next to the keyboard and entering the information into the data. Rayhead scans the computer screen.
So your position in the waiting list was 63,784. You've been assigned to Magellan Station. A special bus will bring you there after a series of briefings. Please pass me your Selectron so I can update the firmware.
Dean snaps the docking port of your pass to a recess in the casing of his computer. The administrator returns your Selectron.
Now you have first-level clearance for a Blue Wing employee. You have access to storage, the repair bays, and various workshops. Your Selectron also has a built-in universal key that opens the hatches accessing the air shafts.
Dean continues.
All new employees have a short list of tasks to perform on arrival. Do you want to hear all the details or just the short version?
Rayhead nods and points at the ceiling.
First, you need a set of combat gear. Talk to Sidney Maynard, he'll give you everything.
Dean extends his second finger.
Second, weapons. Ms. Margarita Takachenko is the clerk at the armory. After she dispenses your firearm, you'll need to head to the training zone for a brief weapons handling exam.
The administrator straightens his third finger.
According to the latest regulations, all employees must attend a briefing on psi abilities. Apply to instructor Andrei Miha.
Dean extends his fourth finger and looks at you meaningfully.
Did I tell you about the combat and tactical training? The fourth step is to visit instructor Winston Botherby. And finally, science is the overarching purpose behind everything we do here. Go to Professor Van Alden to learn how to study relics, avoid anomalies, and catalog scientific knowledge. This training is mandatory for all wings, not just white.
Dean finished. Dean catches himself.
Oh, and when you're done with your trainings, proceed to the waiting room. From there, you'll travel to Magellan by bus.
The administrator looks up at you again.
That is all.
He reaches for the tape recorder, but thinks better of it.
Protocol calls for a little welcoming preamble, but dash it all, that's nonsense. Welcome to Concord Station.
As he's about to turn away, Dean suddenly remembers something.
Oh yes, I sent your mail to your Kairos. Check your new messages. Well, that's all, I think.
Dean gives you a short nod as you approach. Dean gives you a displeased look.
As an exception, I repeat again, go to the...
Just great. See ya.
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Just great. Have a good one.
Attention, will be forfeit.
Come back again.
Behind the storage counter, you see a small, neat guy. His gingery hair shines with something like brilliantine. His badge says, Sidney Maynard, storekeeper.
Oh, what a lovely angel! Came down from the heavens. Good morning, my lady. Is it something urgent? By the way, my name's Sidney. My friends call me Sid, though I prefer a different name. Want me to whisper it to you?
He smiles languidly, leaning on his elbows against the counter. The effect is more laugh-inducing than playful. Never taking his gaze off you, he reaches under the counter, loses his balance, and clips his chin on the desktop as a full minute later, he reappears, grimly rubbing his jaw with a thick logbook. He thumbs through it for a long period, squinting nearsightedly. Eventually, he gives up the struggle and reluctantly puts on his glasses. The silver finally stops and pins down a particular page with his finger.
Now, this is your first uniform requisition, right? You can also purchase any equipment you need for the desert directly from me.
Maynard smiles at you over his glasses, practically stripping you naked with his gaze.
Your voice is enchanting, my lady. I could listen to it forever. Right now, you need to listen to me. I am going to give you some instructions. These are the rules.
Sidney fiddles with his hairstyle.
So, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Life under the dome can be dangerous. You may get shot, spill acid on yourself, get electrocuted, or suffer the effects of a dangerous anomaly. You may also freeze to death or get fried. That's why it's important to wear protective equipment when traveling outdoors. Of course, in hazardous situations, the equipment will get damaged, and the more it's damaged, the more often one has to repair it.
The silver steps back from his counter to indicate the repair kit boxes piled in the back of the warehouse. He points back at the shelves behind him.
We've got repair kits for this gear. There are Blue Wing specialists ready to help you at any large base, of course, but they're not always available. So you'd better learn how to use repair kits and workbenches on your own. It's a useful skill.
Sidney leans on the counter again and throws you a lazy wink.
No one would ever say no to a cutie pie like you, though. Those are all the instructions, by the way. Shall we get to the giving part now?
The silver disappears into the back for a while and returns with a small package. Unfolding the package, Maynard shows you a brand spanking new uniform. Sidney half unfolds the clothes. A jacket, high boots, and turnip pants with patch pockets.
The technician's uniform screams function over fashion. Parts of the uniform are rubberized to protect you while working with electricity.
He raises a finger.
One more important thing. In accordance with Order 16-225, helmets and gloves are not issued, but they're available for purchase from me. Please bear in mind that a full set includes headgear or a mask, jacket, trousers, gloves, and boots.
Sidney hands you the package.
Here's your uniform. Enjoy.
Sidney waggles his eyebrows.
Anything up to a star in the sky, my dear. Here, take a look.
Sidney leans on the counter.
Honestly, lady, I'd sell you this entire place and give you an incredible discount if I could. But I'm not the one who sets the prices.
As you leave, Sidney vents a barely audible sigh. What a looker, he says to himself.
Anything urgent, Mr. Krachkov?
Katarzyna, did you mark it as Class 1 again, instead of 2? Look, here's the scanner data. It says the relic is a scientific device.
Wait, but it's still Class 1.
Relics carefully.
I'm not going to violate protocol.
Katarzyna, my
Your
dear,
life will be forfeit.
you may violate protocol as long as it benefits the company. I'll complain to the Silvers about that.
An engineer in a bright blue jacket is tinkering with the door lock, cursing under his breath nonstop. Blowing a curly strand of hair off his forehead, he turns to you.
You're a newcomer, right? It's a straight-up open house here today.
He offers you his hand. According to the technician slaps the door with one hand.
You have to wait until I'm done. Some orange jammed up the lock with chewing gum just for a laugh. They're like animals, those oranges, marking their territory. If you ask me, they're too gracious about those bastards in Crystal Sands.
Penkovsky chuckles.
Looks like you don't get it. Tons of relics pass through Concord. The base is laid out to make everyone walk a single route, with the top level as separate as possible from the bottom. You get the memo?
He turns back to the lock.
So in the meantime, take a load off, have a coffee, loosen up. Watch the storm through the window. You'll be seeing a lot of those out here.
Maxime extracts a thin, sharp, precision probe from behind his ear and dangles it.
Though there's another way. You want to learn something about picking locks? It's a useful skill in all sorts of situations.
He looks at you expectantly. The blues getting excited. Penkovsky presses his pick lock, and an odd device resembling a hybrid of a screwdriver and a...
Using a mechanical pick lock is easy peasy. No special skill required. They wear out after a few locks. While the old-fashioned kind is another thing entirely. Cheap, one use. But one has to know how to use it right. That's a tool for a master.
Maxime takes out another. He gives you a quick lesson on how to...
By the way, you can carry your tools in your belt. It's much handier to have them right there.
Penkovsky shows you his utility belt, where he keeps all kinds of tools.
Actually, finding tools under the dome is no problem at all. There are even devices for hacking terminals and so on.
Maxime, the blue, solemnly raises his index finger.
And one more thing. Always use brand name stuff if you can. Groovy produces good kits. Modus and Supercolor do too. They've all got fat contracts with Cronus, so they care about quality.
He looks at the door again.
Damn these locks. Though I'd rather be doing this than fixing hab pods. Those are a real pain in the ass.
Penkovsky gives you a patronizing look.
Because they're poorly made. Warp from the heat, and the filters aren't worth a damn. The modules were constructed by marketing managers, not engineers. Building a city in the desert was also their idea. This project is all about PR. Cronus wants to show the world how tough they are.
Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
I repeat, get a lockpick and attach it to your utility belt. And then, apply it to the door. Yes, apply is the proper word.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place.
The smell of good tobacco wafts off this tall, portly woman from a meter away. A black lacquered pipe, an open logbook full of signatures, and a metal flip calendar sit on the counter in front of her. A small nameplate reads, Margarita Tkachenko.
Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage,
The woman fixes her coppery hair with one hand and casually lights her pipe.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Her voice is deep and gravelly. Margarita thumbs back a couple of pages in her logbook.
I see.
This was your first receipt.
She glances at her Kairos, looks at you, snorts, and retreats to the shelves. Tkachenko returns in a few minutes holding a large gun.
You like big toys?
She presents the weapon in her outstretched hands.
Take this and sign here. There are more fun things in store, but they're not for everyone.
After racking the slide, Tkachenko points the gun at the ceiling.
High firing rate and good accuracy, even in burst fire mode. Enjoy. Just don't point it at me.
The Black hands you the weapon.
World, a better place.
Margarita drags on her pipe and releases a puff of thick, yellow smoke.
I see you know the rules and won't cause problems.
Tkachenko pushes a plug of tobacco around the bowl of her pipe.
The safety's on the other side of the world. It's awkward to shoot from around a corner. Also doesn't shoot too well from the left shoulder. Other than that, it's a decent machine gun.
The Black points at a poster on the wall behind her.
Can you see what's written there? Clean and oil. I have nothing to add.
The armorer shrugs, puffing indifferently on her pipe.
It's the least I could do. We have a requisition list from the Silvers. For free, you receive only rubbish. If you want the real deal, check out the weaponry shop. Or me.
Leaning over the counter, the Black points somewhere off to one side.
Now it's time for your training. Fatherby is already waiting for you by the big gate. He's a bit dotty, but a good man nonetheless. But before the training zone, go see that wizard guy with his toothpicks. Be careful around him, though. Don't let him pitch you a line. Psychic my ass.
She winces in disgust.
Pick and attach it to your utility belt. And then, apply it to the door. Yes.
Well, you've got quite an aura.
A lean silver with thick black hair and a huge cigar. As you approach, he flashes a sly grin and slowly raises an outstretched hand above the table. Something really weird happens. All the paper clips, pencils, scattered toothpicks, and bits of trash float up from the table and hang in the air. The silver badge reading Andrei Mihai, Sci Instructor, floats up as well. You thrust your hand forward, and your outspread fingers emit barely visible sparks of energy. Pencils, paper clips, toothpicks, and pistachio shells dance chaotically in the air. The silver sticks out his lower lip as if to say, not bad, and gives you a thumbs up. The objects clatter back onto the table.
Here for the briefing, huh? Shall we get to it?
He takes the cigar out of his mouth and exhales a lush cloud of smoke. The silver props his elbows on the table.
Anyway, here's the deal. It's more profitable for people with a high psyche to study psionics. Give me your hand.
Not waiting for an answer, he grabs your hand with strong, dark fingers. He jerks his hand back at once, then touches you again, carefully and distrustfully.
Whoa. You know you've got one hell of a talent, huh? Slimy little bastard, you. You want to take my office, I know. But you sure got some power there.
The Silver takes a thin glove covered in talc from his desk and passes it to you.
Look, a glove, right? But it isn't just a glove. This is an ooh mama, hold me tight glove. It takes energy from your noggin, your psyche, and pew, concentrates it.
He counts off on his fingers.
Learn psionics. Put on the glove. Transform energy into the necessary shape. That's the whole briefing. Simple? Simple. Now to your questions, huh?
You don't have to ask him twice. Mihai picks up a light bulb from the table, gripping the base in his hand. The filament begins to glow faintly. Soon enough, it comes to full heat and glows bright orange. In a little over a second, the bulb is shining with a steady white light. The Silver laughs contentedly. The Silver takes a pull at his cigar and releases a self-important
Psionics. It's a gift for all of us. The forefathers took off someplace. Poof, gone. Only the dome remains. And this. Psionics, huh?
He rocks back in his armchair, puffing on his cigar. The toothpicks again slowly rise up from the table. Mihai spreads his dark hands. Toothpicks hover around his head in a kind of halo.
Scientists say everyone has an organic skill called psyche. You have it, I have it, everyone has it, Big psyche, you got talents. Small psyche, no talents. You'll need to carry a lighter all your life.
In reply, Andre jumps up from his armchair and thrusts his face close to yours, exhaling foul cigar smoke.
Quickly, think of a number,
The unexpected question calls a bunch of different numbers to mind, but you can't seem to decide. The Silver looks into your eyes.
3, 14, 13, 76.
He easily names every number you've got in mind. It doesn't take the psychic long to think of something. A small 2-com bond coin. The ruined coin drops into a glass already almost full of coins in the same state. Mihai spreads his hands good-naturedly as if to say. The toothpicks on the table skitter around for a moment, arranging themselves into a curse word. The Silver laughs loudly at his joke. The cigar falls from his mouth to float in the air, ash flaking weightlessly from the tip. Mihai shakes his head wearily.
No, enough tricks. I'm exhausted. Psionics it requires strength.
Will make the world a better place. World a better place. Attention.
Attach it to your utility belt, and then
In case of damage,
apply
your
it to
life
the
will
door.
be forfeit.
Yes, apply is the proper word. I repeat, get a lockpick and attach it to your utility belt. Then, apply it to the door. Yes, apply is the proper word.
Attention. Please handle relics.
Penkovsky gives you an appraising look.
All right. I repeat, get a lockpick and attach it to your utility belt. And then, apply it to the door. Yes, apply is the proper word. I repeat, get a lockpick and attach it to your utility belt. And then, apply it to the door. Yes, apply is the proper word.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
I repeat, get a lockpick and attach it to your utility. You're doing great. All right, off you go. I'll keep working on this lock because of that orange.
Welcome under the
Hey-oh.
dome, an amazing excursion to a world of new technology and the riddles of an ancient civilization. Listen to this information, useful for all wings, and receive.
In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Welcome under the dome, an amazing excursion to a world
This
of new
is
technology
Victoria
and the riddles of an
LeGrand,
ancient
and the
civilization.
dome.
Listen to this information, useful for all wings, and receive a colorful leaflet.
Glad to meet you.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place. Attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Have a good one.
Welcome under the dome, an amazing excursion to a world of new technology and the riddles of an ancient civilization. Listen to this information,
Please
useful for
handle
all
relics
wings,
carefully.
and receive a colorful leaflet.
In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Welcome under the dome, an amazing excursion to a world of new technology
Ladies and
the riddles of an
gentlemen,
ancient
this
civilization.
is The Dome from the Inside with me, Victoria LeGrand. As you can see, there are endless salt pans in the western region behind me. The sun reflects blindingly from the salt, and the air is as dry as a nun's gusset.
Good day.
Sounds like a sci-fi story, but we aren't strangers to sci-fi here. The detailed plans are ready, and according to them, there will soon be a real resort city in the west, with bars, casinos, spas, and therapeutic saunas. I don't know about you, but I'm sure I'll come here in a year and will feel like a real queen. This is Victoria LeGrand, and the dome from the inside. See you next time.
Attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Dome from the Inside with me, Victoria LeGrand. As you can see, there are endless salt pans in the western region behind me. The sun reflects blindingly from the salt, and the air is as dry as a nun's gusset. What an inhospitable wilderness, you'll say.
Glad to meet you.
Sipping a margarita right on this spot. Sounds like a sci-fi story, but we aren't strangers to sci-fi here. The detailed plans are ready. According to them, there will soon be a real resort city in the west. Bars, casinos, spas, and therapeutic saunas. I don't know about you, but I'm sure I'll come here in a year and will feel like a real queen. This is Victoria LeGrand, and the dome from the inside. See you next time.
Attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Dome from the Inside.
Hello again.
Victoria LeGrand. As you can see, there are endless salt pans in the western region behind me. The sun reflects blindingly from the salt, and the air is as dry as a nun's gusset. What an
A middle-aged black is sitting behind the counter with his hands in his lap. The buttons and zippers and Botherby frowns as you approach.
Your first act is being late for the briefing. You going to be late for your funeral as well?
The black looks you over.
Yes, I see the weapon received check mark. Looks like you are fully prepared to disappoint me. You are prepared, right, employee?
Botherby leans over the counter and directs you to the doors.
Behind this door,
He raises his index finger.
the conditions in the training zone closely simulate those one would experience in the field. Your goal is to avoid getting lost and dying of dehydration. And try to aim the barrel away from yourself when shooting.
Pulling a notepad from his pocket, the instructor jots down your name.
Your goal is to hit 3 targets. I'm going to monitor you and advise as necessary. And try not to burst into tears. That's all. Go ahead.
The Dome from the Inside. With me, Victoria LeGrand. As you can see, there are endless scenarios to investigate. The sun
Botherby nods grandly.
You made it through training without making a total fool of yourself. Congratulations. I'll send a report up the chain about your completely unanticipated success. You're dismissed, employee.
Sounds like a sci-fi story, but we aren't strangers to sci-fi here. The detailed plans are ready, and according to them, there will soon be a real resort city in the
and
west.
receive a colorful leaflet.
Bars, casinos,
Welcome Under the Dome, an amazing excursion to a world of new
You see a tall scientist in a white lab coat, bathed in the dim lamplight. He almost appears. The man turns at your footsteps. He's holding a paper clipboard and a pencil. His shimmer, he glances from you to the glittering watch on his wrist.
I want us to respect one another's time. Please speak loudly, clearly, and to the point. You must be the newcomer I was told about. Nice to meet you.
Finished with his unusual greeting, he offers you his thin hand. The scientist puts the clipboard aside, raises his watch for a closer look, and he shows you his watch dial.
According to the rules of this briefing, I have to touch on a large number of topics. Therefore, I will do so very briefly. Do not interrupt me. When I'm finished, I'll answer your questions, within regulations, of course.
Sebastian produces his handheld and clicks some buttons.
I checked your scanner. It's working and is connected to the Minerva database. Everything you scan will earn you Kronos or Forefathers knowledge points.
The instructor watches you with displeasure.
Are you listening? Scan everything that might be of scientific interest. First of all, anomalies. They could be dangerous. Make sure to always have medication with you.
He places a canvas pouch in your hand.
This pouch is full of bolts. You can temporarily discharge an anomaly by throwing a bolt into it. It's primitive, but reliable.
Van Olden pushes a button on his stopwatch.
So, my oral briefing fell within the allotted span of time. Any questions you want to ask me?
Sebastian snorts skeptically.
Oh, great. You're even ignorant of the basics. Minerva is a mainframe located at Magellan Base, where you'll be going soon, by the way. The Minerva disk stores the database containing every piece of information about the Dome and the company's employees. It is thanks to this scanning that the database is constantly updated. Are you ready for the second part of the briefing, or do you have any more questions?
The instructor looks at his chronometer again. The white scowls in annoyance.
Do you know anything at all? What did you come under the Dome for anyway? You get knowledge points for scanning objects. For scanning anomalies and relics, you receive Forefather points. Scanning the company's property and employees, living or dead, earns you Kronos knowledge points.
He explains with a sagacious expression.
You can exchange knowledge points for medication and equipment as part of the volunteer research program. Are you ready for the next part? The clock is ticking.
The instructor taps his watch. Sebastian pulls a scanner from his pocket.
I will demonstrate this only once. To switch on the scanner, press the button on the right side of the manipulator housing. The scanning beam is narrow. It's intended to focus on one object at a time.
Van Olden turns on the scanner and continues.
My advice is to scan anything that might be of scientific or statistical interest. Relics, Forefathers objects, automatic doors, vehicles, vending machines, deceased employees.
He turns the screen so you can see it.
The scanner automatically transmits data to the Minerva system, and you receive knowledge points. Do you have any questions, or can we proceed to the practical part of our briefing? You'll need some one-use stimulator injectors, bandages to stop bleeding, and anti-radiation agents and radio protectors, including ARAD-3.
The white ticks these off on his fingers. He produces a black-capped, transparent plastic jar out of his pocket.
According to protocol, you should have this medicine. I'll give it to you as soon as we proceed to the practical part of the briefing. Are you ready, by the way, or do you have any questions?
The researcher winces.
Why do I have to spell out every single thing for you? Take a bolt, throw it at the anomaly, and it goes off. Any more questions?
The scientist glances at his watch again.
You're within the time limit for questions. The next step is training in the artificial ecozone.
He rests one finger on the button in preparation to start the timer.
You're going to go downstairs and scan relics. I will be monitoring your progress. Please note there are several radioactive anomalies in the ecozone. These are the same conditions you'll be working in the field. Radioactive zones and relics are quite common under the dome.
He smoothly extracts a jar of yellow pills from his pocket.
Here's your ARAD 3. And one more thing. Just a moment.
Welcome Enter the Dome, an amazing excursion to a world of new technology and the riddles of an ancient civilization. Listen to this information, ladies for all wings, and receive a colorful leaflet.
The dome from the inside. With me, Victoria LeGrand. As you can see, there are endless sunpans in the western.
Welcome Enter the Dome, an amazing excursion to a world of new technology and the riddles of an ancient civilization. Listen to this information, useful for all wings, and receive a
Inhospitable
colorful
wilderness, you'll say.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
Welcome Under the Dome, an amazing excursion to a world of new technology and the riddles of an ancient civilization. Listen to this information, useful for all wings, and receive a colorful leaflet.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
I don't know about you, but I'm sure I'll come here in a year and will feel like a real queen. This is Victoria
An amazing
LeGrand,
excursion to
and the dome
technology and the riddles of an ancient civilization. Listen to this information, useful for all wings, and receive a colorful leaflet. Welcome Enter the Dome, an amazing excursion to a world of new technology and the
Please stand by for decontamination to end.
for all wings, and receive a colorful leaflet. excursion to a world of new.
Good day to you.
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Come back again.
Welcome Under the Dome, an amazing excursion to a world of new technology and the riddles of an ancient civilization.
World,
Listen
a
to this
better place. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place.
I don't know
A
about
better
you,
place.
but I'm sure I'll come here in a year and we'll feel like a real queen. This is Victoria LeGrand and the dome from the inside. See you next time. Sounds like a sci-fi story.
Van Olden gestures back at the ecozone.
You haven't completed. Be careful around the anomalies. Touch one of them and you'll be injured. Toss a bolt at the anomaly to discharge it. Journal entry. A successful scanning. Doing all right so far. Journal entry. 2 objects scanned. Add again. Watch out for anomalies. Touch one and you'll be injured. Toss a bolt at the anomaly to discharge it. Journal entry. All 3 objects.
Sebastian meets you on the platform.
Your finishing time is within the
He clicks the stopwatch button, fixing the result time. The scientist turns back to his notes.
Not bad.
The scientist assumes a superior expression.
I knew you'd come up with something like that. I see you understand nothing about...
He glances at the shimmering blue light in the eco-zone.
The truth is, we don't know the precise reason.
Sebastian points a thin finger at the clustered lightning.
I personally believe that the anomalies are the dome's security mechanism. The ones you saw are relatively...
Van Olden clasps his hands behind his back.
I know you don't care, but I'll say it anyway. Scientists today are required to be wonder workers who can heal cancer with a wave of their hand and solve the secrets of the universe during their coffee break. For some reason, no one wants to understand that fundamental science is always an investment in the future. It produces no answers here and now.
The White's gaze strays back to his clipboard.
If something terrible happens under the dome one day, and I'm sure it will, science will protect no one. That is all. Off you go.